Hi everyone, welcome to Yoke Stock English. Thank you so much for supporting my videos. If you are new to my videos, kindly please subscribe to my channel and give me a like. And if you like this video, share with some other people who ever need some information. Today, what I am going to give you details about, I've been hearing and I have received some comments in my other channel that a lot of people under confusion that they cannot buy a house in America. If you are on a H1 visa or F1 visa or OPT or whatever any other visa status that you are, I mean, they've been hearing the news is going on that they cannot buy a house and they are not, they don't get the loans anymore. So I will give you a bit of a details on this. You can buy a house or you cannot buy a house, how you can buy a house. Okay. So let's start the video. First of all, who can buy a house? Anyone can buy a house in America. As long as you have a job, you can pay the EMI, and if your credit history is really good, then you can buy a house. What is a credit history? Credit history is basically that if anyone give you a loan or a personal loan or a home loan or any kind of loan, for example, you are my friend, right? If I give you $100, so I should trust you that you are going to return that $100 to me. That is the trust called a credit history. So how that credit history will build up is basically you should make the system aware that you are properly paying. Before you buy a house, my best suggestion for you is improve your credit history so that the government or banks will trust you to give you the loan. Means, I'll give you an example. You take a $500 worth of a credit card. You have a money in your debit card bank. So when you go for a shopping, you are spending your own money which is already in a bank account. So that is a physical money exists in a bank account. So don't worry about that. What you can do instead of, you keep that money in the bank, use this credit card. Every time you go to the shopping, you buy some stuff with the credit card, immediately you pay it off. As soon as the month end comes, you pay it off. Never ever take it to a default. You must pay it off. You spend it, pay it, spend it, pay it, spend it, pay it. So what will happen is the system will become trust on your financial ability. Though they lend some money to you, that is a guarantee that you are going to pay back. So that is the way that credit history builds up. So that is the first important thing, that before you buy a house, you have to create your, depend on your credit history, how much money you can borrow. That's where the system decides. That's one thing. Next thing. So as for the rumors that you cannot get a loan, no. Actually, there are two different categories of the bank in United States that can give you a loan to buy a house. One is FHA, which is the government department, and the conventional loans. FHA loans given by the government, conventional loans given by the private banks. I'll tell you the difference. I'll come back to the conventional loans in a minute. Now we'll go to the FHA loans. FHA loans is basically designed for the people who cannot afford to pay the deposit. Let's say the house that you are buying $5 lakh dollars. If you can afford to pay 20% or 10% a deposit, then you will have to pay $50,000 or $1 lakh. So you cannot afford to pay that money, but you want to buy a house where you can pay your mortgage. You have good enough money to pay the mortgage. That is where FHA loan comes with a very minimum deposit, that which you can afford to pay around 3.5%. In case if you cannot afford to pay this, there is an insurance for that particular loan, that in case if you are defaulted in the future that you cannot pay, the government will take the money from the insurance company. So that is the reason you will have to pay extra amount to the insurance companies, maybe 5 lakh, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. Why they have this system? Not every person in America is a IT employee. If IT employee get 1,50,000 or $1 lakh, fine, no problem. They can easily buy a house. They can save some money. They can buy a house. But there are so many other category jobs. There are barbers. There are car drivers. there are working in the coffee shops, working in a supermarkets. Not everybody get 150,000, 200,000, 300,000 salaries. They cannot do multiple jobs. They get very reasonable pay. For example, like a $40,000. Wife get $40,000, husband get $30,000. They work in a different non-IT jobs. All these called a non-IT jobs. So if they want to buy a house, how will they buy a house? They don't have enough money. They cannot save that $100,000. For them, this FHA loan, they will provide with 0% to cover these people's deposit money. They will take the FHA loan, and most of this FHA loan is actually given to the citizens or a green card holders. So that is the way that they get a government loan. Before, everybody, H1, L1, F1, everybody is getting FHA loan. So since after that February 19th executive order signed by Trump, what they have decided that not to give loans to the undocumented people. Undocumented illegal people. Who are they? They are border crossed people or undocumented people. And everybody is illegal. How do they get a loan? Yes. What happened was, there are a lot of people that have claimed the asylum, right? So those people, they have claimed the asylum and waiting for the government decision to become either a citizen or a green card holder. So for them, the government has to provide a legal help to buy a house, to live in the house, to give a job, because they have to live and survive in the country. So for them, if they are good enough that they can afford to pay EMI, until the application is decided, they have to live in the country. So they are giving the loans to them. So now government decided, we are not going to give any loans to anybody, though they are on a asylum application, they are undocumented, they are illegal. If you don't have a status, they don't want to give a loan. Along with that, they have a thought, why we have to give this loan to visa holders like F1, H1, L1, etc., because they are also temporary aliens. Means until you get your green card, your stay in the United States is not guaranteed. Anytime you can leave the country or they can deport you. So for that reason, they have decided these are also temporary and they don't have a permanent stay. Once you get your green card, you are a permanent stay holder, that you're going to stay back in the country. That's what they trust, and they give the green card. Till then, you are on a visa holder, means anytime you can leave the country. So why we have to give the loan to these temporary visa holders? That is the reason they have decided, don't give this FHA loans to these H1, L1 visa holders. Understand? That's that. So that means after 25th of May, you cannot get these FHA loans. Anybody applied before that 25th of May, all that applications will be closed and given the loans depend on their whatever the criteria. If they are eligible to get the loan, obviously they will get the loan. Next one, come to the conventional part of the loan. Conventional loans is basically given by a private banks. So obviously if you can afford 10% or a 20% of a deposit, then they don't charge insurance for that, because this is a 0% loan. They will charge insurance if you don't pay. But in here, you can afford to pay. I mean, there will be insurance on top of every loan, and that is in case if you don't pay, obviously they will sell your house and they take your money. So that's a different story. So you can afford to pay 20%. The conventional loan will give you, whatever the 400,000 or 200,000, whatever you need to buy a house. So H1, F1, L1, anyone can take a loan from these conventional loans and you can buy a house. That remains as it is. Only the change comes for the FHA loans, which is run by government, that they are not giving to the temporary workers. Everybody is a temporary workers unless you have a green card or a passport. That's only the big change that they brought. However, most of the IT employees, that they save some money, they have some money in their account to buy a house, so that they will go for a conventional house. My sincere advice you all too, a lot of people are making this big mistake. What they do for this 20% or a 10% deposit, what will they do? They will take the money either from a credit card or if borrow from friends or borrow from your family, borrow from your parents is fine because that's your money. If you're borrowing from a credit card, if you're borrowing from friends, that's always a risky. One thing risky, if you're borrowing from a friend, obviously you will have to return the money. In case if you lose your job, you will be in a debt trouble to return the money. Next one, if you borrow from a credit card before you take the house loan, as I said before, that credit history, if you have a credit history of a $500,000 worth, if your house is $500, then if you take $20,000 from your credit card, your credit goes down to $480,000 only. Means that 20,000 already deducted from that amount. You cannot get $500,000 for your loan, so that you already have 20,000 withdrawn from your credit, though you taken from credit card, personal loan, car loan, whatever the loan that is comes from your eligibility criteria. So in that situation, what you can do is, first of all, until you get the home loan, you just stick to the home loan. These $20,000 you may borrow from your friend. Once you get the home loan, withdraw from your credit card, you clear that amount to your friend. So that is the best way. If you take that 20,000 out of your credit, means you will get 480,000. So you cannot buy a house. Okay, that's the advice that I wanted to give you. And final conclusion is like FHA loans is mainly for a poor people or a middle class people or a lower class people. And after 25th of May, you cannot get FHA loan, that is with a 0% deposit. Conventional loan, there is no change in conventional loan. Anytime you can get a loan, you can buy a house. There won't be any problem. Okay. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.